You've done it again. You had the whole day. You knew what needed to get done. You even told yourself, this time is different. This time, you'll start. And yet, here you are. Hours later, scrolling, watching, doing anything except the thing. And the worst part? You're not lazy. You're not broken. You don't lack discipline. Your brain, the most sophisticated organ in the known universe, is actively working against you. And it's doing it on purpose. Welcome to Neuroscience, where we cover hidden science of the brain. Today we're going inside the neuroscience of procrastination. What's actually happening in your brain when you avoid, delay, and self-sabotage. And more importantly, what you can do to stop it. Stay until the end, because the last strategy is the one most people never hear about. And it changes everything. Let's start with a truth that might actually make you feel better, and worse, at the same time. Procrastination is not a time management problem. That's the lie productivity gurus have been selling for decades. Buy the planner, color code the calendar, wake up at 5 a.m. But if procrastination were about time, those things would work. For most people, they don't. Not long term. Dr. Fuchsia Sirois at the University of Sheffield and Dr. Timothy Feichel at Carleton University both reached the same conclusion after years of research. Procrastination is an emotion regulation problem. You don't avoid tasks because you're disorganized. You avoid them because the feeling the task produces is uncomfortable. And your brain is incredibly good at protecting you from uncomfortable feelings. Boredom, self-doubt, anxiety, fear of failure, fear of success. Your brain registers all of these the same way it registers physical pain. And just like your hand pulls away from a hot stove, your mind pulls away from the task. So, what's doing the pulling? Two key players, the prefrontal cortex, your rational planning brain, and the amygdala, your emotional threat detection brain. The prefrontal cortex knows the deadline is real. It knows future you will suffer. It wants to start. The amygdala? It only cares about right now. And right now, this task feels threatening. So it fires up the stress response, floods your system with cortisol, and suddenly, checking your phone sounds excellent. This is called an amygdala hijack. And it's why smart, capable, self-aware people procrastinate just as much as anyone else. Intelligence doesn't protect you. In fact, research suggests highly intelligent people are better at rationalizing avoidance. They can construct more convincing excuses. Your brain isn't failing. It's doing exactly what it was designed to do. The problem is, it was designed for a world where threats were tigers, not tax returns. Now let's get into the actual neuroscience. 3 specific brain mechanisms that lock procrastination in place. 1. The dopamine trap. Dopamine is your brain's motivation currency. But here's what most people get wrong. Dopamine isn't about pleasure. It's about anticipation of reward. Every time you pick up your phone, your brain gets a micro hit of dopamine. Not because the content is great, but because there's always a chance it might be. It's the same mechanism that makes slot machines addictive. Meanwhile, your project, your essay, your business plan, your workout, has a delayed and uncertain reward. Your brain runs a cold calculation. Guaranteed dopamine now versus maybe reward later. It picks now, every time. This is called temporal discounting. The further away a reward is, the less your brain values it. A study from Princeton found the brain literally processes future self as a stranger. So, when you blow off tomorrow's deadline, your brain is essentially letting a stranger deal with it. The fix: shrink the gap. Create immediate small rewards that attach to starting the task, not finishing it. Tell yourself, I only have to do 10 minutes and then I can check my phone guilt-free. You're hijacking the dopamine system in your favor. 2. The default mode network, your brain's favorite distraction machine. When you're not focused on anything specific, your brain doesn't go quiet. It switches to a network of regions called the default mode network, or DMN. This is your mind-wandering mode, daydreaming, rumination, replaying that cringy thing you said in 2014. Here's the problem. Modern devices are perfectly engineered to keep triggering the DMN, a notification, a tab switch, a just one video. Each one breaks your focused attention and dumps you back into wandering mode. Getting back into deep focus after a distraction takes your brain an average of 23 minutes, according to research from UC Irvine's Gloria Mark. So every time you quickly check Instagram mid-task, you're not losing 30 seconds. You're potentially losing half an hour of real cognitive work. The fix: don't fight willpower. Fight the trigger. Phone in another room, website blocker on, single tab open, make distraction require more effort than focus does. 3. The stress-avoidance cycle. This is the most insidious loop, and the one that keeps procrastination chronic. You feel anxious about a task. You avoid it to feel relief. The relief is real. Your cortisol actually drops when you step away. So your brain logs, avoidance equals relief. It's now a reinforced behavior. But then guilt kicks in, which creates more anxiety about the task, which makes avoidance even more appealing. The cycle feeds itself. Neuroscientist and psychiatrist Dr. Judson Brewer has studied this cycle extensively and found that the key to breaking it isn't discipline, it's curiosity. When you get curious about the feeling driving the avoidance rather than reacting to it, you activate the prefrontal cortex, the rational brain, and weaken the amygdala's grip. The fix: next time you feel the urge to procrastinate, pause and ask, what does this feel like right now in my body? Label the feeling: tightness in your chest, restlessness, dread. Just naming it, what psychologists call affect labeling, measurably reduces amygdala activation. You're not fighting the feeling, you're watching it, and that changes everything. Okay, here's the one most people skip. Everything we've talked about is tactical, but there's a deeper lever, and it lives in your identity. Research by Dr. Wendy Wood at USC shows that around 43% of our daily actions are habits, not decisions. They run automatically, triggered by context. You don't decide to brush your teeth. You just do it, because that's what you are: someone who brushes their teeth. Procrastinators often think in outcomes. I need to finish this project. Non-procrastinators think in identity. I'm someone who works on hard things even when it's uncomfortable. That shift from outcome focus to identity focus rewires how your brain categorizes the task. It's no longer a threat to be avoided. It becomes an expression of who you are. James Clear calls this identity-based habits. Neuroscience calls it self-concept consistency. Your brain is wired to act in alignment with your self-image. If your self-image is, I'm someone who always gets things done, your brain will find it uncomfortable to procrastinate. The avoidance becomes the friction, the practice. Every time you sit down to work, say, silently or out loud, this is what I do, not I have to. This is what I do. Small, stupid sounding, neurologically significant. Let's pull it together fast. Procrastination is an emotion problem, not a time problem. Your amygdala is treating your to-do list like a predator. The dopamine trap makes immediate distraction beat future reward every time. Shrink the gap with micro rewards for starting. The default mode network means every distraction costs you 23 minutes of recovery. Remove triggers, don't fight willpower. The stress avoidance cycle is broken not by force, but by curiosity. Label the feeling and watch the amygdala lose its power. Identity beats intention. Stop trying to do the thing. Become the person who does the thing. Now, here's what I want you to do. In the comments below, tell me, which of these 3 loops hits closest to home for you? The dopamine trap, the distraction spiral, or the stress avoidance cycle? Because I read every single comment, and I want to know where you're at. Your answer might also shape the next video I make, so this is genuinely useful for both of us. If this video made you look at your own brain differently, that's exactly what this channel's about. Subscribe if you haven't yet. And hit the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. Your brain isn't your enemy. It just needs a better operating manual.